Hi all, myself Srijit, working as an assistant professor in Department of Mechanical Engineering, Dr. Mahalingam College of Engineering and Technology, Pollachi. Now we are going to see some of the basic concept of the mechanical tolerance stack-up and analysis. Here I am going to provide the industrial oriented lecture notes which will make you to understand how the individual part will vary while doing the assembly process that may affect the fit, function and performance. Hope all of you know what is tolerance. So in our real world life, we cannot able to manufacture a product which is having exact size or 100% accuracy. So we are going to give some range that is going to be called as tolerance. A tolerance is the permissible variation in a dimension of a manufactured product. Every dimension is given a range, not a fixed value. So here we can able to see one simple example of the shaft diameter. So the shaft diameter is equal to 20 plus or minus 0.02, which means I can able to manufacture the shaft which is having the diameter minimum of 19.98 mm and maximum of 20.02 mm. Hope all of you know all these things. Now, why this tolerance exists? We already discussed in order to compensate with the machine inaccuracies, tool wear, material behavior, and finally the human factors. Now, here comes our main concept, tolerance stack up. So, why we want to stack this tolerance? So here you can able to see part A, part B, part C. So this is three different individual parts. So definitely it is going to become as a assembly. So here in this assembly, we want to implement the tolerance stack up. So basically tolerance stack up is the accumulation of individual part tolerance in an assembly that affects the final fit, function and performance. In real assemblies, the multiple parts contribute to a final dimension. Simply, we can tell when multiple parts are assembled, their variation or the tolerance is going to be add up. This is going to be called as what? The tolerance stacker. I hope all of you understood regarding the tolerance stacker. Now, we will do some of the examples. First, we want to know what all are the different types of stack-ups available in industry. So the first one is linear stack-up. So all of you know what is linear. If I am going to do the assembly one over another like this, right, or in the form of a stack, it is going to be called as what type of assembly, or it is going to be called as linear stack. So here the parts are arranged in a straight line. For example, the shaft plus spacer plus bearing which is going to be assembled end by end. We will solve one of the problem regarding the shaft, spacer and bearing. At that time you will understood what is going to be the linear stack up. Now the next one is radial stack up. Here we are going to do the assembly of circular components which is going to be stacked concentrically. So we can give an example of a bearing fits inside a housing board. Then finally the last one is angular stack up. Here it is going to be used to when the error due to some angular misalignment. For example, hinges and linkages in mechanism. I hope all of you understood regarding the types of stack ups in industry. Now we will see one small example. So here in this diagram you can able to see three parts. So part A which is having a dimension of 10 plus or minus 0.1 mm. Then part B which is having a dimension of 20 plus or minus 0.1. Then finally part C which is having a dimension of 30 plus or minus 0.1 mm. So here we are having the nominal size which is going to be the actual size as 10, 20 and 30. Here we are having the tolerance value is same for all the three different parts which is 0.1. So we are going to add the nominal sizes. So which will become 10 plus 20 plus 30, the answer is 60 mm. Similarly, we are going to add the tolerances. Here we are going to get 0.1 plus 0.1 plus 0.1. Finally, the tolerance is going to be called as 0.3. Now, the final result, we are going to merge this nominal sizes along with the tolerance. So, the final answer will be 60 plus 0.3. I mean, plus or minus 0.3. So, we can able to be called the maximum tolerance is going to become as 60.0, or we can able to be called as 60.3. So, similarly, we are going to how why we are going to use this one is, in this case we can able to predict or interpret while doing the assembly of the part A, part B and part C whether our assembly will get how too much time which may cause interference fit or too much loss which may have some clearance fit. So in this diagram you can easily able to understood the part A, part B and part C were indicated in 3 different colors with their dimension. Now here you may have some doubt regarding what is this worst case. Actually the worst case is one of the stack analysis technique. Next we are going to study about what is worst case with an example. Okay. Now here we are going to see the worst case analysis. So this is a deterministic method that assumes all tolerances hit their extreme limits simultaneously. I mean, we can able to get very 100% assembly success, or we can able to get some of the it may cause increase of the manufacturing cost. Here we are going to do means we are simply adding the tolerances value, or we are going to do the addition of the tolerances value. We will see one example. So here you can able to see one simple problem using the worst case analysis method of the stack analysis. Now here we can see we are having some 2 bearings. So you can see it is going to be the first bearing or it is going to be the second bearing. Now we are having one spacer, so it is going to be the spacer. Now finally we are having one shaft also. This is going to be the shaft, right? It is going to be the shaft. Then this all things is going to be come inside a housing. So you can see it is the housing. So it is the CAD model of individual parts or exploded view. Finally we can able to see it is the assembly view. Now we will see how to find out the tolerances, or how we can able to interpret whether this assembly is safe or not. Okay. Now we will see each and every dimensions individually. First we can able to see the bearing 1 dimension, then next is spacer, then 2, then finally housing. So in these cases we are going to be do the addition of this individual parts, which is bearing 1, spacer and bearing 2, and we are going to compare with the tolerance also of this housing with the addition of this remaining 3, right? Now we will see the step by step. First one, we are going to add the internal parts. So we are going to add the nominal dimensions of bearing 1, spacer and bearing 2. So we are going to get the answer 15 plus 20 plus 15, we are going to get the answer of 50. So we are having the nominal dimension of the internal stack. Internal stack means we can able to call the stack which is having the dimension or the addition of the dimension of this bearing, spacer and finally the second bearing. First bearing, spacer and second bearing. Now next one, we are going to add the tolerance of the first bearing, spacer and second bearing. Then we are going to get 0.01 plus 0.02 plus 0.01. We are going to get an answer of 0.04. Now we are going to add the nominal dimension along with the tolerances. So we are going to get the answer 50 plus or minus 0.04 mm. Okay. Now we got the tolerances, or we got the values of our stack. Now the next one is we want to make sure that whether it is going to be assembled freely or in a safe way inside the housing. In order to check that, we want to find out the tolerance of housing. So the maximum tolerance of housing, here you can able to see the nominal size of the housing is 50.05. So the tolerance is 0.02. So the maximum tolerance of the housing is 50.05 plus 0.02. You are going to get the answer of 50.07. Similarly, the lowest tolerance. Here the lowest tolerance is going to be 50.05 minus 0.02. You are going to get the answer of 50.03. Now the next one is we are going to find out the clearance. So the equation of the clearance is we are going to do the difference or the subtraction of the housing with the internal stack. Okay, so first we are going to calculate what is the minimum clearance of the assembly. So here, in order to calculate that, we want to subtract the minimum limit of the housing, which is 50.03 minus the maximum tolerance of the stack, which is going to be the 50.04. Okay, so 50.03 the minimum housing value with the maximum value of the stack, which is 50.04. So we are going to get a value of a negative 0.01. So definitely, since the value is negative, we can tell that the part will collide while doing the assembly process. So definitely the type of fit formed here is interference fit. Now next we are going to calculate the maximum. So the maximum clearance is the maximum value of the housing unit, which is 50.07 minus the how much value here. The if we are going to take the maximum of housing means definitely we want to do the subtraction with what the minimum of the stack. So maximum is 50.07 minus the 49.96. How it is going to be get? It is going to be get by the subtraction of 50 minus 0.04. So we are going to get a clearance value of 0.11, which is large gap. So how do you feel about this assembly? If you are going to design this type of assembly having the having the spacer, first bearing, second bearing inside or inserted this housing, means whether our design will be safe or not. Definitely the answer is design is sometimes may get too tight or sometimes may get too loose. So we can tell the design is not good. I hope all of you understood how we are going to calculate or how we are going to interpret whether a design is safe or not using the worst case analysis of the stack. Now the next one, the second type, RSS, right? RSS means root sum square. Okay, here we are going to assume the variations follow a normal distribution that will give more realistic estimate of total tolerances by reducing the manufacturing cost. So it will have some advantages, like it will give more realistical results and it will reduces some of the manufacturing cost, and finally the probability of getting an assembly failure if you are going to implement this RSS is very, very negligible. Now then the next one is we are going to see the same example which we had used for the worst case for this statistical stack up of RSS method. So please understand, this is a stack up which is going to be used by linear type. It is not radial one. We are going to use the linear type stack up for this particular one. It is not only for this RSS, and the same for the worst case also. So in the both the worst case and RSS, we are going to do the linear type stacking. Now, similarly, we will see here, we are having first bearing, we are having second bearing, spacer and housing. The dimensions is also same. So I'm not going to repeat the same. Here we are doing what? First of all, we will see the addition of the nominal length, which is step 1. 15 plus 20 plus 15, you will get the value of 50 mm. Now, the next one is, we are not going to add the tolerance individually, which is in the case of this particular one. In the previous case, for the worst case, we had add the tolerances value. But here we are going to do what? We are going to find out the square of the tolerances, then we will find the square root. So you can see the square of the tolerance for the first bearing is 0.01 square plus the spacer 0.02 square plus then the second bearing 0.01 square. Finally, you are going to get the value of how much? 0.0245 mm. Now, the next one is, we are going to calculate the stack limits. So I hope all of you know what is stack. It is a combination of bearing 1, spacer and bearing 2. Now, the maximum stack is the nominal size, which is 50 plus 0.0245. So we are going to get the answer 50.0245 mm. Now, the next one is, we are going to calculate the minimum. So 50 minus 0.0245, the value is 49.9755. Now we had completed the calculation of stack limits. Next, in order to compare with the housing, we want to find out the maximum of housing values. So housing, all of you know, here we are having 50.05 is the nominal with a tolerance of 0.02. So 50.05 plus 0.02, you are going to get the maximum value of 50.07. Similarly, for the next one is the lowest one. So here we are doing the minus. So we will get the value 50.03 mm. Now it's time to calculate the step 5 or the clearance. So here first we see the minimum. So I already told you how to find out this. So in order to find out the minimum clearance, I need to subtract the minimum value of housing, right, which is 50.03 with the maximum value of stack, which is 50.0245. I obtained a value of 0.0055 mm. Similarly, for the maximum, we are going to find out the value by subtracting the maximum housing limit, which is 50.07 minus the minimum stack limit 49.9755. You are going to get the answer of 0.0945 mm. Now, how do you feel the assembly? It is safe or it may cause any interference? No, because here in the both the cases, if you see the in this value, you can see this value 0.0055. We are not getting the value in the form of negative. So here there is no chance of forming an interference fit. So this fit is always positive and the parts will fit properly. The assembly will work because it is not having any interference or we are having any clash with the assembly parts. Now we will just make a comparison. If you see regarding the two important types of the stack up assembly, one is worst case and RSS. The total tolerance is for the base case 0.04, then for RSS 0.0245. Here the variation is very high and here it is very less. If you see the clearance value, so in this case, the worst case, here this is interference fit is going to be get for the minimum clearance. But here RSS method you are going to get as a safe one. In the case of maximum, you are going to get a value of 0.01 in worst case. At the same time, in RSS, you are going to get 0.0945. So regarding safety, we want to check the 100% of safety in the case of worst case, but here they're having some probability. But if you see the result of design, if you are going to design on the base of the worst case, it is not going to be acceptable, but it is acceptable. Now, how do you feel? Which is going to be safe, or which is going to be more safe, or which is going to be less safe? Which can able to use for individual component, which can able to use for a batch type of assembly like that? I mean the mass production. We will see. So worst case assumes everything goes wrong at same time, but RSS assumes real life variation or random. So final comparison, sometimes if you see the worst case, there may be a chance of getting tight or chance of getting loose, so the design is not good. But the next one, RSS, the part will mostly fit properly and no interference in normal conditions, so we are accepting the design is good for production. Also, if we take the industry interpretation, means the worst case is mainly used for critical systems, as well as the RSS is mainly used for the products that is having mass production, which means the complicated types of the products or assemblies we can able to use the worst case, and the products or assemblies which we are going to manufacture in a mass or in a batch production, we can able to use RSS. So I will give some tips regarding these two. First one is, if you take more realistic in the form of getting result, we can adopt the RSS. At the same time, if you want to get more safer type of assembly or more safer in the case of the design, we can adopt the worst case. Now, we can see the industrial impact or importance of this particular stack up analysis. Mainly, we are using this particular type of GD&T and stack up analysis in three categories of our industry. The first one is we are using for automotive, then aerospace, and finally used for manufacturing. In automotive, we are using this for mainly engine assembly, gearbox alignment, brake systems, which may vary importance for the performance of that particular automobile or engine. So the main reason or the main problems that will arise in this type of automotive field is poor stack up leads to noise, as well as it may cause vibration or failure. Next, in the case of aerospace, we are using this for getting very high accurate turbine blades, which is having very tight tolerances at micron level. Finally, in the case of manufacturing, we know in the case of the manufacturing process, we need to assemble or we need to integrate a lot of individual parts. So the interchangeability of the parts that may cause our process to be more efficient, and it will improve the batch or it will improve the productivity of our particular shop. Next, I will just throw some lights of this particular fits and clearances. I hope all of you studied this concept in your GD&T OCC class, or you may study it on your subject which is called as engineering, metrology and measurements. It is just a refresher. So tolerance stack up directly determines the type of fit achieved between the meeting parts in a whole shaft system. So if you are going to use the clearance fit, means the shaft is always smaller than the hole, so free movement is allowed. But in the case of interference fit, you know the shaft is always larger than hole, so definitely we want to do some external force using press in order to make the assembly to be happen, right? So this press fit is for permanent assembly. Finally, the transition fit may result in either clearance or interference depending upon the actual size of the individual parts during assemblies. Here you can able to see one example of the hole and shaft. So okay, you can able to calculate whether this is going to be safe or it is going to be what type of fit. Next one is, here I am going to give you another practical example of gearbox assembly. So here also you are having some shaft, spacer, bearing type. So you can able to apply the same concept here also to determine whether our design is safe in the case of stack assembly or not. You can do it later. Now, the methods which is used in industry to evaluate or interpret the stack up is having two way. First one is the manual type. Here we can able to use it for basic assemblies. So in the case of giving some lectures, teaching, training, for giving small design projects. But if you want to use it for a complicated, or if you want to use it for a high quality job, this manual calculation is not sufficient. We want to depend upon the software tools. In case if you are using SolidWorks, means it is having some tool which is going to be called as SolidWorks tool analysis. On if you are going to use the CATIA, it is having a separate tool called CATIA tolerance analysis. Siemens means Siemens NX variation. So all this type of tools which is available in the particular design or particular CAD software can help you to do this type of stack up analysis. Finally, the most common problems in industry, or why we are going to use this type of GD&T and stack up in industry, is to avoid the failure during assembly of individual parts, to improve the product quality or to avoid the poor product quality, finally to avoid the high manufacturing cost. So these are some of the common problems which you are used to, or which you are facing in industry if you are not following this type of GD&T or stack up analysis for making a product which is having several parts or assembled one. Now the design guidelines or the best industry practices is, first one, use functional tolerancing, which means assign tolerances based on the functional requirements, not arbitrary precision. Next one is avoid unnecessarily tight tolerance. We should not want to give tight tolerances to all the parts, which means the part which we need more complexity, or the part which is going to be the vital part of a product, we can able to give the tight tolerances. Because if you improve that, or if you are going to give the tight tolerances, means definitely it will affect the cost. Now the next one is, we need to apply the GD&T, or you want to use the geometric, the dimensioning and tolerancing for precise, unambiguous, finally for getting better engineering communication. The last one, analyze early and use statistical methods, which means the we need to perform the stack up analysis very early in the design itself, and we need to use the RSS methods or worst case methods for doing the cost optimization, or make sure that our assembly is safe while doing the design process. So the next one is, we are going to study, or we are going to find out the relation or the impact of cost vs tolerance trade-off. Manufacturing cost increases as the tolerance tightens, and we can see the relationship between the cost and the tolerance is, cost is inversely proportional to tolerance. If tolerance will increase, means the cost will decrease. If tolerance will decrease, means cost will increase. So if balancing quality requirements against cost is the central challenge of tolerance engineering. So the optimization strategy that we can use means, we can use worst case for safety critical parts, use RSS for high volume cost sensitive production, then validate with software tools for complex assemblies. Finally, the review tolerance at every design iteration. So the key takeaways from this particular session is, first we came to know what is stack up, what is going to be called as stack up, which is the sum of the individual part variations in an assembly. The next one is two types of stack up methods. One is worst case, here safe and guaranteed, but conservative and costly. It is going to be best for aerospace and defense, which means the part which we need to make, or the part which is having complexity during design or for functioning. Next one is RSS. So here we are using realistic and cost effective. It can able to use for the products or assemblies which is having mass production. The impact of this particular tool in industry is it can be able to use in automotive, aerospace and manufacturing. Proper analysis ensure fit, function and reliability. Hope all of you understood the key takeaways. So thank you for your patient listening, and if you are having any doubt, you can ask or you can able to type below the section of comments. Um, if you like my channel or if you like my explanation means, please subscribe my channel and give likes, and please give your valuable feedback. Once again, thank you and all the best.